Okay, perfect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'm gonna start with roll call. Joshua Cresswell, he has an excused absence tonight. Bonnie Bobian.
Here.
Errol Rhodes.
Present.
I am here. Maureen Quinn.
Here.
Stacy Marchioni.
Here.
Kevin Verville has an excused absence. Will Hubner.
Here.
Kendra Cohen.
Here.
Jocelyn Messier.
Here.
And Tom Dillon is not present. I believe he has an excuse, but I do need to verify with the chair. Okay. Any public comments? Going once, going twice. Okay. We don't have any meeting minutes to approve, so we'll wait on that, and hopefully we'll have them next time. Do you have a school district budget by chance, expenditures or anything?
I
Revenue
do
update?
not, no.
All right. So we're gonna jump right into it. We have building inspector up first. It's going to be on page 81. If our selectman rep would like to introduce the budget, that'd be wonderful.
All right, Madam Chair, I present the building inspector budget in the amount of $62,758, and I make a motion that we move that number.
Perfect, seconded. And would you like to have somebody present it?
Board of Selectmen, of course, has reviewed this with Frank, who's here tonight to also answer questions for the MBC. And I can tell you two things that we changed from the original budget. One was line item supplies, which we, oh, excuse me. Yeah. I'm having trouble with reading across. I guess it's supplies. The line that's $200.
Mm-hmm.
We moved that up from $20 to $200. So that's up. And the line item, vendor maintenance and support, we moved that up from $200 originally to, we added $1,800 to make it $2,000. Those are the two lines that were changed in the Board of Selectmen meeting to come up with a total of $62,758. It was a little bit lower, of course, originally.
Okay.
So Frank is here to answer any of the questions that you may have about the individual lines, and up to you how you'd like to go through it. If you want Frank to try to walk through each line, you can do that. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Or you can ask by exception.
Do you guys want to just start with any questions you might have as we're looking through this? The only question that I had was, the full-time employee obviously was just merged into a part-time employee because it's a part-time position.
Correct.
Right. Anybody else seeing anything? How are you liking the position?
Good.
Good.
It's, I think I finally kind of settled in, worked through all of the interim stuff from the previous leaving, and obviously Devin filling in. So I think excited for next year to have kind of just a clean slate and start the year fresh. So, but otherwise good.
Perfect. Go ahead, Rob.
Madam Chair. So Frank, it's not exactly a budget question because I think your revenues end up in the general fund, but any reaction to the increase in fees that you're charging?
Have there been reactions? No, but we haven't implemented them yet.
Oh yeah, it's first of the year?
First of the year,
Are you
we've been telling everybody that,
it's coming?
fees will be increasing. But obviously the move for that was to try to help cover these costs. We were only covering about 50% of our costs with the permit fees, so this was a a move to try to, you know, cover the entire building department out of what permits are issued for the town, so.
Was it actually calculated that the increase would match this budget?
Calculated as close as we can. To that regard, yes, we used the baseline of the proposed budget and tried to factor we looked at what our annual permit revenue was over the last 3 years. And then we ran the numbers based on what the new permit fees would be, how that would increase over the 3-year average to try to more accurately get it to match this proposed budget, so.
So I gather that you're doing a little more code enforcement than we've seen in the past. Is that cutting into your time in a way that you wouldn't expect, or is that sort of par for the course?
No, I wouldn't say it's cutting into my time. I would say that is the learning curve of this position. Obviously, coming from a building background, the building inspection part of it is kind of second nature and easy to work with all the contractors in town. The code enforcement and the zoning enforcement is, you know, a new kind of avenue that I've never gone down before. So just really learning all of the zoning ordinance and the RSAs and drafting letters and following up with people and, you know,
Fun, isn't it?
yeah. But I wouldn't say it's cutting into time. I just think that it's more of the job than I anticipated or realized, you know, when I started, so.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. Good evening. Can you just speak to, what is the total salary? So your salary is split between, is that right? Building and highway?
It is, on a preliminary basis to be reviewed in the spring. So we left the budgets alone right now, in case I separate and don't continue to run the dual position in the spring.
okay.
Then we assess to see if it's too much or if it's working. So the salary, so the way that we presented it to the Board of Selectmen was that the departments are still very much divided. And the salary that's included in this line item is the 32 hours a week salary for the building inspector position. So currently, right this minute, we have them merged, but that is not set in stone. It's only on a 6-month trial.
Okay, so is there another portion? So this 53,248, that's you?
Yes.
Okay, and what's the highway portion?
The highway portion is 80,000 salary on the highway portion.
Okay.
Here you go, Zach.
Yeah, go ahead.
The vehicle repair, is it a personal vehicle or are we using a town vehicle for?
Town vehicle. And that's why there's nothing carried for mileage.
Right. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we can call well, actually, we won't do a roll call. Everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Votes unanimous. Frank, if you want to stay up here, we could just jump right to highway if you guys are okay with that. It's on page 89.
Great.
Buzz through that real quick while we have him.
And do you have a copy of that?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to move a highway budget for 2026 in the amount of $282,270.
Do we have a second?
Second.
The highway budget, of course, has several segments. So this is the highway administration budget on each page, the first segment. This is only the full-time, part-time, and overtime. And so the motion is to move that segment of the budget, highway budget. Frank is here. We have 4 highway employees that I know of: Frank, Matt, Paul, and Stan, which is Frank, the highway agent or the road agent. Matt and Paul are 2 of our very experienced highway workers. And then Stan is a part-time member that works at the highway garage.
He mostly works for highway now, but he does 1 day a week at transfer. But he started out at transfer and then kind of evolved into highway.
So we have 4 at the moment.
Any questions for Frank?
Madam Chair,
Sure.
just a quick question. Frank, hi. If you could just clarify, you said when we were on the previous building inspector that that position was 32 hours a week. So how many hours a week are represented in this salary?
This is a salaried position, so it's not necessarily hours. I'm on call. I have the phone 24/7. So the mindset behind merging the positions is that I would take care of building, code enforcement stuff on kind of an hourly basis, and then set the highway guys up with their daily tasks. But then as road agent, it's monitoring the bids and preparing things for the Board of Selectmen and kind of being that buffer between the guys out in the field doing the highway work and the political, head of the department with the town. So that was where the salary portion kicks in. Obviously, when winter kicks in, being, doing all of the road maintenance, sanding and salting, plowing, but also throughout the rest of the year, being on call for emergency dispatch to do when we have storms and trees down to keep the roads open for fire and police. So there wasn't necessarily an hourly figure given in that job description. It was, this is a base salary to include these job descriptions. And my proposal to the board was that I felt that I could confidently handle those obligations while still being able to put in the appropriate hours on the building and code enforcement side to be able to do both, because both do happen in the same town. Inspections are happening on the same streets that we're working on. Obviously, the office, office work is office work, and I can simultaneously take care of code enforcement and some road agent responsibilities at the same time. So I felt confident, and I think over the last month and a half, taking the position, I've been able to successfully run both positions simultaneously. And I think once we hit that 6-month trial period, if we all agree to move forward with this as a permanent position, that the salary will be sorted out at that time to properly identify between the 2 departments what pays for what. And right now, it is kind of a gray area because we don't know if it's going to stick.
Okay, great, thanks,
Yeah.
that's very helpful.
So my question, I guess, is partly to you, Mr. Putchman, but also to the town administrator, because my recollection when this all was starting was that 80 covered everything.
It does. 80 covers everything.
80 covers everything,
But we
okay.
left the 53 in the building budget in case this doesn't work out, so that a building inspector can be hired, and the 53 is still in that budget. and the 80 can be put towards the road agent on the highway.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
once the 6-month trial is over, and this does or does not become a permanent thing, then I think the budget can be addressed between the two departments, but right now it's not permanent, so there was no recommendations on either the building or the highway budget to modify the salaries at this point in time.
So there's flexibility, both numbers are in the budget, but that represents some flexibility for the springtime when you figure out whether we've had a horrendous winter that kills you.
Yeah, I know, Ryan. No, exactly, and obviously, if it does work out, it's in the benefit of the town because it's reducing the amount of money paid, because it's combining 2 positions, and then that can be sorted out on next year's budget. But we didn't want to take that money away and propose this and then have it not work out at the end of the 6 months, and all of a sudden, oh, there's no money left to pay a building inspector, or vice versa, so.
You spend it all on salt.
Getting there. I do have one question because, oh, sorry, Stacy.
No, go ahead.
The part-time employee being marked to $1 for 2026, I guess that's open to anybody to answer. Maybe that's just because obviously we'll still have part-time employees at the highway unless everyone's going full-time.
They are all full-time.
Right
Okay.
now, everybody's full-time.
Okay,
but we
even.
left- Even stands full-time.
Gotcha.
Because as an employee, he collects his 40 hours.
Okay.
So he's a full-time employee.
Okay.
Again, mixed between highway and transfer.
Highway and
so,
transfer.
Is his salary solely being paid, though, out of the highway budget right now?
Yes.
Okay. On your 32 hours, then, as building inspector, is that paid hourly tracked? Or are you paid 32 hours a week at an hourly rate for that? Sorry, I guess
Currently, right now, or before?
currently.
Currently, I'm not paid on the building salary. I'm only paid on the highway salary.
Okay,
However, Karen and I are tracking the hours put into both so that we have a presentation to make in the spring when we apply for this to become permanent.
You're planning ahead, huh?
I like it.
You like that word, see?
Making a note here.
Okay. Any other questions?
But to answer your question, he's not getting paid $130,000.
okay,
That's what
that is the
everyone-
question, because
Because if he is, I want that job too.
Appreciate the clarification.
that was not clear initially. Okay, so, so this 53, okay, may or may not be spent on,
It's kind of just an
on
earmarker for
building.
now.
Okay. Sorry, can I ask
Yeah,
one
go
more
ahead.
question? On highway with 4 full-time employees, is that department fully staffed?
Never.
Okay, ideally, how many would you have?
Ideally, I would have one more employee, and nothing against the crew that we have, they're amazing, and they've been with us a very long time, but they are reaching the end, and, over the next foreseeable few years, we will see some of the members of the highway department that have worked there for multiple decades starting to retire. And I feel like it's important to bring in some new, younger, next generation, somebody to start training, the next Matt and Paul. And that's probably something that's important to look at in the next coming year or two, as we know that some of our guys, will eventually be moving on.
Okay, and that's not seasonal, that would be a 5th full-time, year-round employee.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Just following up on that one point, do you see that happening sooner than later?
I don't think it's happening next year, but I think in the next 3 to 5 years, I see it happening. And I think that it takes time to train people. There's a lot that goes into this position. And if we don't train somebody up in this position, we're gonna have to pay to get somebody to fill the position. So, you know, the lesser of the evils there is to train somebody, which would be, you know, my goal, hopefully.
There you go, planning again.
Yep. Okay. If there's no other questions or discussion,
Sorry, can I ask
ahead.
one more
Yep, go
question?
ahead.
Full-time, are the staff members at the highway department hourly employees, or are they salaried?
Hourly.
Hourly, okay. Obviously, so that's,
I'm the only salaried.
so that's your overtime line.
Yes.
And-
It's mostly, for winter and then, emergency calls other times of the year. After hours to go out and clear trees usually.
Is this number including the plowing contracts?
No,
No,
plowing
that plowing
contracts
contracts
are in the next
in the next section, okay.
This
just wanna-
includes our guys to plow,
Okay,
their overtime for being out plowing.
gotcha,
Plowing contracts that we hire, our subcontractors, are in the next section.
gotcha, okay, so I'll make sure of that. Thank you.
Do we have hourly rates on highway, and then what would you start people at?
Let's look at the current rates.
We don't have a breakdown on highway.
I think Karen can supply that.
They range from 21 to 29.
Okay.
And if you were to onboard and hire, it would depend on whether or not that person had a CDL A or B, or not a CDL license at all, on what their starting wage would be.
Right, you could start a basic laborer with no knowledge at probably 18. And then
Okay.
anything with knowledge, licensing, that kind of stuff increases from there.
And would you say that if you were able to get a fifth employee, the overtime line could be eliminated? Or do you think
No.
that's not possible necessarily because of plowing?
It's not possible because of plowing.
Okay.
And because of the on-call issues.
Yep.
To go out and respond to the emergencies.
In the night when a tree falls on power line.
Sure.
they have to go out.
Thank you.
I'm a little curious, because I recall 2 years ago maybe, Matt and Paul went to 25. Has that changed?
Yes, I think they went to 25 when Pete Shivelhoot took over as road agent, so that would have been, what, 3 years ago?
Maybe, okay.
And
Time
then
flies when you're having fun.
He just received an increase.
Sorry, one more question. Do we have a breakdown for highway? Other than? No? Okay.
employee,
Yeah,
What kind of breakdown do you want?
is there merit in, one of the things we've looked at with each department is merit increase? Is there funding in this budget for merit increases? Is this straight what you pay out to your employees in a year?
That's currently what they're making, and then at 40 hours a week for 52 is their salary line.
Okay, so this 254 is strictly 40 hours a week, current employees.
Yeah.
No plan.
No.
increase Other than the COLA, of course.
No, the COLA's not in here, the COLA's separate.
The COLA's gonna be separate, but it would apply.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And if you look at the 2025 budget line, column 3, you see we have about $238,000 of total for this in the default budget, which of course will be a little bit higher because of the COLA last year. So the default budget's gonna be, I'm just gonna guess, 5%, or not 5%, 3% higher. So it's gonna be maybe 250, 260. And you can see that if we don't get this proposed budget, we're gonna have about at least a $20,000, $25,000 shortfall in being able to pay the highway employees.
Madam Chair, just a follow-up clarification. Karen, the the whole conversation that we had weeks ago with the personnel administration budget, those were merit increases.
Yes, that was a
And so these employees would get their merit increase out of that budget
yes,
if they were to receive one.
yes, but that budget was reduced.
Right, right. I recall that, but that's where the merit
Yes, that's
stuff
where it
happens
is.
for everywhere except for the town clerk and the police.
And I think the library had merit
Maybe,
in their budget as well.
but for the rest of the George B. White building. Thank you.
Anybody else? If we're ready, we will move the highway administration portion of the budget into $182,270, which was already moved and seconded. Everybody signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, votes unanimous. We'll move on to highways and streets on page 90.
Madam Chairman, I move the highways and streets portion of the budget in the amount of $377,355.01.
Second?
And this budget, we only made one change that I know of in the Board of Selectmen meeting, which was the cold mix, which we added $5,000. We raised it up from $5,000 to $7,500. You see that in the cold mix line 694. Yeah. That's the only one I recall that we changed, frankly, unless you know another.
No, not on this section.
And this is all of the patching of things and all of the supplies and everything is all in this section for the highway department.
Yeah, I would say most of this is our budget for our day-to-day operation, for the guys to take care of the actual maintenance of the roads and ditches and right-of-ways. So, nothing new, nothing paving, no culverts, anything like that. This is like, you know, the stuff to keep the trucks running. Obviously, winter, maintenance is included in this section. But otherwise, it's all the day-to-day stuff.
You can see the plowing line in the winter maintenance, 145,000. Other bigger items, of course, are gravel and salt and diesel fuel.
And the building maintenance line was reduced to 0, and those funds were reallocated in the government buildings budget.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Sure, we're good.
Just a clarifying question. So the contracting general, what's included in that?
That goes to our town engineers, K&A Associates, for not legal fees, engineering fees. Some of the fees are assessed to a specific project and they may be covered under a warrant article, but there's other times that, you know, we need to reach out to them to ask them about an integrity of a culvert, an integrity of a road, you know, just kind of anything that we may need to reach out to them for. When we receive those bills, that's the line item we bill it under.
And it seems like this year we went pretty far beyond what's budgeted. You're still comfortable with the 2,500?
I am because, I mean, I took over at the tail end of the year, so I'm not sure what all of those bills entailed, on what Pete was working with them, but, based on what we're looking at for 2026, a good portion of our projects are covered under warrant article and FEMA, funds. So those bills would go directly to those, funding reserves. So I believe that the 2,500, or sorry, so 25 or 3,
25.
yeah, 2,500 is sufficient for this year.
Thank you.
Madam Chair? Frank, could you speak to the 399 line, the winter maintenance? I know there's been new contracts this year with new pay rates. But just when looking at, I'm surprised to see the 24 number, that was 32,000 actual spend.
I'm not sure why that's at 32,000. So part of the problem is that the highway winter contracting is split between years. So some of the bills to this, so actually that's why you have to combine. So the 32 was the tail end of last year, and the 26 was January, February, March of this year. So combined, the 99 and the 32 is our spent not year to date, but spent for the 2024-2025 winter, if that makes sense.
Well, but the 24 actual would have included the 20,
24
I mean, you get a
actual-
whole year of winter maintenance in a fiscal year.
That was
get-
the year in which the ground didn't freeze.
You get January through March, and then you get, obviously, November to December. So you get a whole year of plowing in a fiscal year.
And I think a portion of that was reimbursed back from the expendable trust fund,
That was
20,
not for contracting winter maintenance.
that just winter sand, was it the sand and salt
It was to offset, we were over in
supplies?
sand and salt, and yeah. I don't believe it went towards contract.
We ran, year-to-date actuals, and we did 3 years worth, and I think the average was about 140.
Yeah,
Maybe we ran all those
well,
numbers.
Pete did that one with you, because that was right as I was transitioning
Yeah.
in with budget time, perfect time to start a job. But I believe that Pete and Karen had gone through to come up with that 145 based on previous years, so I see what you're saying, the 32 doesn't make sense.
I mean, it seems ridiculously low, but
Yeah,
could have been, we didn't have any snow. But anyway, we're 81,000 year-to-date as of this, which was, whatever it was, which would have been the early year plowing. So this 145 will cover all the new rates you anticipate, and you've got additional plowing contracts over prior years.
correct. So we actually have less plowing contracts this year, than last year. We have bigger trucks, so less of the trucks. And the way that I proposed the, winter contract is we, used it based on a 200-hour average for the winter season. And that's where we came up with these numbers. Last year, the plow contracts averaged between about 140 to 150 hours. So the 200 was meant to be a safety placeholder, so that we don't actually, exceed that amount. But that's how the budgets were prepared, based on the 200 hours. And in the last 3 years, we have not hit 200 hours. Last year, being the heavier of the snowstorms in 3 years, like I said, was at about 150 hours.
So this then is a fairly conservative estimate to make sure that we have it covered.
It's one of those things that without these contractors, we can't clear the roads. We only own 3 trucks, and there's 10 other guys that are helping. So, 2/3 of our workforce is contracted labor, and if these funds run out, it's gonna be a lot of road to plow with 3 trucks, so we felt the conservative approach was better, ballparking it at the 200 hours.
And you should also be aware that the 145 includes the payment of certain stipends to the plowers when there is no snow. So that they don't get no work when there's no snow. To keep them.
Yeah, and I
willing
guess
to-
I'll
willing to apply for
speak
it.
to that, just so everybody knows what it is that each plow contractor gets 5 hours guaranteed pay each week. That's deducted out of then the hours that they put in. So if they only put in 2 hours for a week, they'll get the other 3 balance added to it. If they plow 10 hours for the week, well, then it's 10 hours, the 5 hours cancels out. So it was just meant to provide a minimum pay just to help keep cash flow coming in for them throughout the winter. And we offered it to be competitive with all the other surrounding towns to try to bring some of our plow drivers back to town.
Yeah, because I don't believe we had as many, or we were able to get as many plow drivers last year.
Nope, everybody's moved on.
Right.
Northwood, Nottingham, Candia.
So how many did we contract this year, or do we know yet?
We have, I believe it is 10 contracted drivers, and 75% of those are new. They've never plowed for the town of Deerfield before. So,
So it seems like your new program has
Working.
been successful.
yeah, and I'm hoping that once we get through this year, it'll bring some interest back to some of our guys that live in town. Obviously, again, I started pretty late into the season with this, so after we got this approved, a lot of the guys that we approached had already other towns, so they couldn't, back out at that point. But we're hoping that next year, this kind of keeps some of our residents local and plowing on the roads they live on, so.
Go ahead, Stacy.
Vehicle maintenance and repair at 25,000. Can you just speak to that and whether we are at, I don't have the actual year-to-date. I had 11,000 as of the date this was printed.
I can tell you we're at almost 30,000 right now.
Yeah,
So it's gone up that much just since this was printed a couple of months ago. We have old equipment. I don't think that's a secret. The equipment's good, but it's older and it needs repair. It's the trade-off. We don't have the payments and we don't have the expenses of millions of dollars worth of new equipment. We have older equipment that frequently needs to go in and get repaired. And the highway department owns a lot of different pieces of equipment, so this line item adds up fast.
Yeah.
With 15 different pieces of equipment, if each one needs $1,000 repair, that's already $15,000. So the 25,000 we thought was the most conservative number we wanted to approach. We did spend a lot of money this year. We have our expendable trust fund for repair and maintenance as well, which we will be most likely tapping into some of that this year. But that takes away from, larger warrant article money for purchasing new equipment. So the idea is to try to keep the repair and maintenance in the actual operating budget. With the repairs that we've done over the last few months, I feel that the equipment's gonna be in really good working condition, getting us into the 2026 season. So it should be, hopefully knock on wood, a little bit less expensive next year for repairs and maintenance than it was this year, because we worked on pretty much every vehicle and a piece of equipment this year, so.
and that's kind of where I was going because I know there was a lot spent on vehicles this year. So I didn't know if you anticipated the same kind of challenges next year or if you think we've kind of,
No, I think we've kind of reached the plateau of it. I mean, obviously with the age of the vehicles, it's never gonna go away. But we definitely, hit a peak with some of these things. I mean, some of these repairs were a lot bigger than anybody anticipated or wanted to spend money on. But we got through it, we got them fixed, they're back on the road now, so that puts us in a better position for 2026.
and there was a new truck purchase, wasn't there?
There was not.
No,
There was not.
no.
No.
Well, I just, there was so much discussion.
There
and
was.
Jared and I actually
There was
thought.
a discussion, they never circled back about it, but it was not purchased.
Okay,
We did
I
not
thought you had
purchase-
found something and,
We
okay,
ended up.
Can't take 2 trucks in 2 years.
We ended up repairing Paul's older dump truck.
okay,
It was more cost effective to do that at this time.
Okay.
We found a cheaper repair locally and went that option instead, so.
thank you.
So, and you're happy with the level of solidity and all the repairs that you've done?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love a new truck. The guys would love some new trucks, but everybody is confident that their equipment is in
Yeah, today's welds,
working order for the winter.
today's welds aren't as good as your repair welds, probably.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Anybody else? While we're on it.
Mowing, why is there a 0 year-to-date spend but a $16,000 budget?
It hadn't been put in yet. We spent 16,000 on contract mowing this year. It just hadn't gone in as the spend yet when this was super. But it did get spent, I think like the week after we presented this to the board.
Can I just ask
Yeah,
one quick
of
question?
course.
Frank, are you feeling okay about the rental, the equipment rental and lease line with the projects that are coming up for next year?
Yes, I believe so. Again, we've got some of our equipment back in working condition again. We're gonna be presenting, some proposals to the board to use some of our impact fees to purchase something, which will hopefully cut down on some of the rental that we had the past couple of years. So if that goes well with the board, then, that'll help that line item as well. So obviously, we increased it to 20,000. Again, this is showing us at around 11,600 for spend. It's gone up a little more. I think we're around 15,000 current year to date. But I am, hopefully going to be doing a little bit more ambitious road work in the spring. So we'll utilize the line item if we get it.
Thanks.
Thank you for bringing up the mowing. The mowing was more this year than it's been in any prior year. Were you, do you see that going down at all, or?
That predated me. That was right before I started, so
Right.
I'm not sure
Well, the question is, yeah,
what bids Pete got in. I mean, obviously, it went out to bid, and there was three bids placed.
all right.
So I'm not sure what caused the jump.
Well, it was 8,000 the prior year, but they, I think, did an inadequate job for some line of sight things and so on, so they went to 16, I think with the same vendor, if I recall correctly. And so one of the questions is, was the town happy with the job that was eventually done? Because there was a lot of higher, this is all roadside mowing, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there was some higher visibility related mowing issues that had come up. So if there's no complaints about it, then obviously they've done a decent job.
I have not personally received any complaints on the line site. So I would assume yes, but again, I have limited knowledge on the mowing as I wasn't privy to the bids, and that all happened before I started, so. But obviously, when we put it out to bid this year, saving anything we can is what's important, so we'll price it accordingly.
For tree care, the spend here is only 500 for this year, but I assume that probably went up a little bit since.
We got the warrant article this
Right,
year.
yeah.
So everything tree removal's been just going into the warrant article to
Okay.
use that up first. So if there was anything remainder, so obviously next year, if we don't get a tree removal warrant article, we would need that 3,000 for tree removal ourselves if we had to hire an outside vendor, let's say with a bucket truck, because something, was in a dangerous place that we couldn't get to it. That's what that line is supposed to be for. But like I said, this year we've had the warrant article, so that's where all those funds have been allocated.
So you've had a chance to look around and see what the tree threat is along the roadways. And I know you're spending a lot of that, I think, a lot of that warrant article between now and the end of the year to clear trees out. My question is, how much of the problem do you see that as addressing?
I mean, there's a lot of trees in Deerfield.
I mean, actually Deerfield's been cited by the town, the county forester down in Brentwood as maybe being one of the epicenter in this area of the emerald ash borer issue. So it's not surprising that we're ahead of the rest of the state in terms of the severity of it. But that translates directly into your department in terms of threat to roadways. So I'm just wondering what, maybe another warrant article, I mean, because I think people realize that the tree issue is a real issue.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think the warrant article is the way to go for that. Just like with the roads, there has to be a little bit of a separation of what we do. Day-to-day maintenance is the way that I'm trying to see the budget of this is what I need to operate and to keep our crew running and keep the trucks moving. And then obviously for the residents, we want to do what's the above and beyond, what can we get on the warrant articles, tree removal, road paving, culvert replacements, bridge replacements. And that's all stuff as the road agent that I'm going to advocate for, above and beyond what our highway guys are doing for 40 hours a week. But I'm in complete agreement that there's a lot of trees, and the 35,000 that we received this year is just a small dent in what needs to be done. So we're trying to make the most of what we can with the money that we get each year. And if we get another warrant article for next year, we can continue moving down the roads and keeping them cleaned up.
Are you working with Eversource at all on that?
Yes.
Yeah? Because I know they had a very detailed spreadsheet of damaged trees along the roadways where their main lines run. I don't know about co-op, whether co-op has a similar kind of thing. But, so as long as you're working with them to
Yes.
sort of figure out,
Yeah, we were working with Eversource to make sure that we were utilizing the most of our funds, and we weren't cutting down something that Eversource was planning on cutting down already. So, yeah, there's been close collaboration with Eversource.
I would recommend if there is going to be a warrant article, just because I recall the discussion at the deliberative last year of being able to sort of present how many trees you were able to cut down for this amount of money, or like how much work, just so that, I think last year there was a motion to increase it from what it was originally.
17 to 35.
Yeah, so,
From the board was 17 and they increased it to
yeah,
35.
so I would say people are interested.
Okay.
So if you can advocate for a particular amount based on how much work was able to get done this year, I think that would be very beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that works all start next week, so we'll be able to start tracking that and then be able to present it back to the public that this is what the money paid for, dollar for dollar.
And if Eversource, I'm sure they're maintaining their spreadsheets, but I remember seeing a spreadsheet with, I think, 400 trees that they identified just along their main trunk lines, which isn't everywhere. So if they are able to update that, that'll help with the statistical sort of thing that you'd be able to use to help advocate for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm quite confident that the board is going to have another warrant article on trees.
Yeah.
And, it was overwhelmingly popular last time, and I think that's showing the priority for that. So
Yeah.
I think we'll be doing at least what we did this year, hopefully, and then I think it'll pass well, and maybe even more.
Yeah, we'll never know. I think it was Marine.
Yeah.
If I
But
recall.
I agree with you that, people will be interested
Yeah.
in some sort of quantification of what that accomplished, and
I think they'll be supportive, but it will
Yeah,
help us know what
they'd like to see
what
the
we're fighting
data.
about. Yeah, at deliberative, what we're fighting for at
Yeah.
deliberative.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing no other further discussion, we'll move highways and streets in the total of $355. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, one abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. 801. Okay, so I don't believe Frank will need to do,
701.
sorry, 701, did I recount? Oh, I thought we had
6, 8.
8.
Right, so
Oh.
that's one is abstaining.
That would help, yeah.
We have a-
Okay,
We have a couple more categories that involve.
highway safety can involve Frank, obviously.
Well, we have
RS,
the
road surfacing.
road surfacing, resurfacing, and the.
Oh,
road
okay, you know
reconstruction.
what, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry that I,
So I think if we move on to the next one, it'd be on page 92.
okay,
What is-
And I would move the resurfacing budget in the amount of $1,500.
Second.
This is for basically tarring and sealing, a small budget for that function.
Why is this not in the other budget? Like, why
Yeah.
is this separate? I mean, I don't, it seems
I
silly.
don't know why it's broken down like that.
I don't know.
Okay. Me neither.
I know this
Tradition.
particular line items for seal, for crack sealing,
Yeah.
which they did not do this year, but Paul and Matt are advocating for, to be able to do more of next year, because it will, increase the longevity of our roads to keep the water out of them.
Yeah.
So it is a line item we would like to spend next year, so,
And is that work that they do in-house?
yes.
Okay, then even more reason it should be combined.
Yeah.
Mostly for accounting purposes, because they have this set up for these payments in these different lines, so we could change it, but just more work for the accounting people to do, and, the program. So there's no real reason that it's kept out, except it's just.
Frank, how many yards of crack sealing can you do for $1,500?
Yards or lineal feet?
You understand my question then? I mean, is it enough?
I mean, nothing, it's never enough, but it's a start.
Yeah?
4 feet.
No, you could probably do about 700 feet,
Yeah.
so you might go get 3 or 4 roads done. So. Parking lot done, you know.
And you can see historically that we haven't been spending the money. on
Yeah,
this
and that's, I
item.
think that's why Pete left it alone when Sharon went through this, is historically they haven't. And in taking the position on and discussing this with Matt and Paul that have been there for a long time, this is something they used to do a lot of and then stopped doing. But, they're advocating that they should be doing it again and more of it. So these are the guys that, know this better than any of us, so, like I said, this is just kind of where I picked it up from Pete, but it is something we plan on doing more of this year.
Any equipment requirements that, or materials requirements beyond?
We have the equipment to do it, obviously you gotta buy the material, which is probably what most of the $1,500 is, and then, the labor's included in, the salaries to do it. but
Yep.
You're just buying the tar for $1,500 at that point to put in the machine.
Right. Wonderful to hear that they want to start it up again. People have noticed.
The goal
With,
this year is to use the money and. actually do it.
understandable. Yep, and then go from there next year
Yeah.
and see where you guys need it. Yeah, understandable. All right, any other questions on this? Okay, everyone in favor signify by saying aye for the 15.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay,
Next item is on page 93, and it's the road reconstruction budget. And it is in the amount, I make a motion to move this amount, $58,303.
Second.
And the Board of Selectmen have moved the $257,000 that normally is in this line and has been in the default budget forever, essentially. We have moved that out of the budget, leaving only $1 there. And what we're gonna do is have a conditional warrant article, which is gonna say that if the budget passes, will the town approved 257,000 or some amount of money for road reconstruction. Because obviously, if the budget passes, that's 257 will be missing from this budget. And so, but if the budget doesn't pass and we end up on default again, the 257 will be back in the budget, right? So we're essentially taking it out of the base budget and making it a warrant article conditional on the passage of the budget. The philosophy there, of course, is to actually have two warrant articles. One will be this conditional warrant article for the 257 to maintain it in the budget in case this passes. And then secondly, I believe we will have a separate warrant article, which is just not conditional. It's just, will the town approve 300,000, 500,000? Typically, we've had 300 go into deliberative and come out at 500 by citizens, increasing that because that's such a high priority for the town. So that's a change that the Board of Selectmen made, a significant one. And then we've recognized that there's a lot of day-to-day maintenance, hot top grinding and other day-to-day maintenance that we haven't been doing, and we want to, we're committed to passing a budget that has some significant money in it to do that. And so the next to last line, you see we've added $50,000, which is for that day-to-day maintenance, better maintenance of the roads, try to make them last longer, as opposed to doing new reconstruction and paving, trying to take care of the roads better. So those are two of the significant changes in this budget that really change it a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm confused about the conditional warrant article. Because if you take it out of the budget and you put it at $1, you don't really need a conditional warrant article. Because if it's a default, then it goes back in.
Right, but if the budget passes, which is my hope, of course,
Right.
then we won't have anything in the highway for highway reconstruction, zero.
So you're
Or
saying
actually
if the budget passes, then what?
So if the budget passes,
Yes.
which is, perhaps not likely
Sure.
historically to happen.
Sure. 50-50, let's say.
If the budget passes, then we'll have the conditional warrant article will say, if the budget passes, on the condition that the budget passes, then would the town approve $257,000 as road reconstruction?
But that would be a separate warrant article, not in the budget.
Right, a conditional warrant article. And what that also means is that if they say, yes, we do want the $250,000 for road reconstruction, it means that it will have to be used for road reconstruction. We can't do what we've done in the past, which is to use the 257 kind of as a, for disposing of trash, for instance, when it runs over and other things that run over. So it's a significant change. And the philosophy that at least I went into this was, we are trying now to put the right numbers in the budget so that we don't have things that are way short of what they should be, right? And so if the budget passes, there will be enough money to dispose of the trash because the number that's in for trash disposal is the proper historic number that we need to get rid of it. If the budget doesn't pass and we end up in default again, we'll have to do what we did this year, which is to take the 257 and partially use some of that to offset the $100,000 shortfall for disposing of trash. So what we've been doing is using the warrant article 500,000 that was passed by warrant article for road reconstruction, and then using the 257 to make up for shortfalls in other areas that we don't have money in the budget for. So this is an attempt to pass a budget that has the right numbers in it, so that we don't need the 257 as a slush fund, if you will, and to use the 257 for what it's really meant for, which is the road reconstruction.
So you would do the 257 if the budget passes and a second warrant article.
Then we have one that's not conditional, just will the town approve 300,000 or 500,000 for road reconstruction? Last year, we put in 300, the deliberative session changed it to 500 as they had the previous year.
Right.
And so we had 500,000 to spend on road reconstruction, and we used the 257 primarily for other things. So next year, if the budget passes and the warrant article passes, the 257 will actually have 757,000 if we have the $500,000 article.
I know it's
That would
unlikely.
have to be spent for road reconstruction. It wouldn't be used for anything else.
Right. I know it's unlikely because people generally vote in favor of the road stuff, but is there a world in which the budget passes and we have $1 and then the warrant articles fail?
Yeah, it's possible.
and then we have $0.
I mean, but that's why we put the 50,000 on the next line item down.
Okay.
That's the worst case scenario. If we lose both warrant articles.
Yeah.
Then this budget represents the day-to-day maintenance.
Okay.
Again, as like I said, with the trees and other stuff. So we wouldn't be redoing any roads, we wouldn't be doing any major infrastructure, but we would have the money in the budget to take care of the roads, fix potholes, fix cracks, fix, washouts, that kind of stuff with that 50,000. So that was how we structured it, based on that worst
Worst-case scenario, yeah. I mean, I don't think that will happen, but I never
And
know.
it more appropriately, as Will is saying, kind of, especially for the residents to see, to say, this is the working budget, the day-to-day maintenance.
Yeah.
And then what you're voting on over here for the warrant article is what we're gonna do for infrastructure upgrades, and it kind of begins to separate it, and stops the mix of, as Will said, pulling from the slush fund.
Yeah, and that was a huge concern. I think this sounds great.
So you should see 2 warrant articles for road
Right.
repair on the ballot. If I get my way, and I think the board is consensus is go that way.
Right. Okay, well, that answered the road reconstruction question then.
So the budget is quite a bit different than previous years. As you see, in the last couple of years, if I can read this fine print, 268. What's the number for the
For-
last year's budget?
265.
265.
Yep.
And this year, the total is 58,000. So it's a huge decrease in the overall budget.
Okay. Any other discussion? We're missing Errol. He just stepped out for a moment. But we still have a quorum. So we can vote. But does anyone have anything else? Nothing? Nope. All right. All in favor of moving road reconstruction? Is that what this is road reconstruction, correct? Or resurfacing?
That road reconstruction.
Okay. In the amount of 58,303, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No abstentions? Okay.
The next 3, actually, the last one, I think, for Frank, is the gravel, which is
Yes,
the very
gravel.
next one,
This will be quick.
94. And that's in the amount, I make a motion to approve $16,000 as the budget for the gravel for 2026.
Second.
Looks like, Will, if you want to walk us through, it looks like we just had a little overage in 2024.
Yeah, it's basically quite predictable,
Right.
actually, historically. But I think gravel is increased, in terms of its cost per ton. We had bids made to us.
Yeah, everything's increased. I don't know, this item was used again as a slush fund for this past year, so that's what
Okay.
we haven't spent on it.
Okay.
But, for keeping it, for previous years, it kind of goes along, probably should be in the section we just went through, but,
Yeah.
it's for,
Let's simplify.
it's for maintaining our dirt
It's a
roads.
smaller amount too.
So, the R&R is for maintaining the paved roads, the gravel section is for maintaining our dirt roads.
Right.
And it's our 365 day, years of, days of the year of being able to go out and regrade the roads, add more gravel as needed, compact them,
Let's see that
fix the
spent.
washouts, so. We have 2 kinds of roads in town, so I guess we have 2 sections, so.
So everyone feels special.
And Frank, I think we have some balance of gravel still over at the shed.
Yeah, we probably have like 3 or 4 dump truck loads over at the shed, which we keep for the winter in case we get heavy storms or washouts that we have to go fix the dirt roads or washout, especially in early spring, when we get that transition from the frost to the thaw and the heavy rain, so.
Okay.
But that is what that line item is for, so.
But this is all purchased out. We don't create our own gravel. Like, we're not,
No, we do not. We buy it all. We put it out to bid every year.
okay.
from different material suppliers, and low bidder gets the yearly contract for us. So currently it's Manchester Sand and Gravel.
Any other questions? Stacy, did you have? Oh, all right, seeing none, we will vote on the $16,000 motion. Everybody signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed and any abstentions?
Now, I believe that we've covered bridges and dams earlier in the,
I believe we did.
because there were low-hanging fruit that we did earlier.
I believe so. In the beginning, yes.
That's true, we don't have to do them now.
I know, and I should double check that just to make sure.
$1 for bridge repairs.
I believe we did, though.
So if that's true, we can move on to the transfer station budget, which is on page 102.
Should you do emergency management for
Oh,
this guy?
that's right, we skipped over that. Yep, I want to go so that the officer can go back to emergency management, if that pleases the.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Happy Thanksgiving.
So emergency management is on page 86.
We have Officer Lavoy. Welcome. Thank you.
So I make a motion to approve the emergency management budget in the amount of $9,338.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion second, so
You're up, Will.
that's hard for me to get out of one mode into another. We have added $100 to a line that was $1, and that is the line for equipment. That was the only change that the Board of Selectmen made to this budget. So we raised it by $89. And Officer Lavoy is here to answer any questions about this budget, which would be his operating budget if this budget passes.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Lavoy?
You'll see there's a significant increase, I would say, off default for this, which I believe we've had each year. COVID, so
Tell-
we'll have that back in default.
Yeah. Right.
Is there anything you want to highlight that you know of in the budget?
No, the only thing that really changed was the salary, so I got a stipend, which is $200 a month, that was added to it. It previously there was nothing in that line. Everything else is pretty much the same. The diesel is a contracted number. We always keep a reserve of diesel in there in case of a storm. The amount of money in there for the diesel that's left should be sufficient to cover in case of we need to run the emergency shelter for a couple of weeks. We run between 6 and 12 gallons of diesel an hour. The school being our primary shelter place. On that, there's not much in there.
And you can see one of the bigger numbers is the maintenance vendors. That's just running flat on historical spend.
Yeah, the detail says it's with Milton Cat.
Excuse me,
Is this with Milton Cat, the maintenance agreement with Milton Cat?
just in the detail.
And that's for what?
The maintenance vendor?
What sort of maintenance?
Yeah, so what does that entail?
That's the maintenance on the generator at the school.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Aaron.
To Officer, Lieutenant Lavoy, excuse me. So regardless of the amount of time you end up devoting to this, which I gather isn't really an emergency direction matter, it's more paperwork, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, like so far this year, I've been to, I think, 3 trainings trying to understand the FEMA paperwork. It's quite extensive.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's just, I had to renew, the federal contract for the generators at the school. Besides that, there's not a whole lot of paperwork unless something does happen, which is obviously unpredictable.
But then this is all paperwork after the fact, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. I mean, if there's an event, you have to get out there and do a preliminary storm damage assessment to see if they can declare this area as a disaster area. They need numbers as soon as you can get them. But beyond that, it's just paperwork.
And regardless of the number of instances in a month, the stipend stays the same.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
The postage looks like it was moved down to $1. Is that not necessary anymore? Or maybe it was moved to another line? Or another area
All
in the budget?
postage was moved.
I
wasn't
believe
it?
all. Right.
We split it between, town administration and town clerk.
Okay. Just wanted to double check.
You can see that our spend in 2023, actually 2024, actual spend has gone up this year significantly, almost doubling. And what can we attribute that to, that increase for this year? Was there a particular event that caused the whole thing to be higher?
I believe that was the renewal of the federal contract for the generator, FEMA contract. There's a big application fee you have to pay.
Yeah, that definitely increased.
So is that an annual renewal, or is that like every few years?
I have to check with Karen, I believe it's every few years.
When did you start in this position?
I think it was like in April or May.
Yeah, so it was partway through the year. And prior to that, there was nobody in this position? It was empty for a little while, wasn't it?
We used to have Denny.
Denny was, Denny did it that,
She did,
out of
but then
welfare.
She
there was a
moved
period of time when
2
we had
years
nobody.
ago, yeah.
Right, so,
But she wasn't paid for, as far as I know, I don't think there was even a stipend at that time.
You're getting your stipend, yes? Because I don't see it. in the
It's not,
year-to-date.
yeah, it's not calculated for 2025 yet, or it may have been after. This was printed, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully it was taken out of this line. Was telephone reallocated to other? The spend seems so small. Yeah, I know, I just jumped.
Did you get an answer to your question?
I didn't.
Stipend?
Yeah, I was letting her work on
I
stipend
think,
first.
I think Chief Duquette is probably observing it right now, and so we'll have to do an adjusting entry.
Okay, okay.
Because on the year-to-date, it's still showing 0, so I'm thinking that's what's happening.
I think the question, Leah, maybe you should ask it again. You were asking about the telephone.
Yeah, sorry, I wanted her to answer the stipend one first. The telephone is pretty low spend. Is this being reallocated to another portion of the budget?
I think that's just because the position was vacant for a while, and you already have a phone through PD, right? So we don't need to.
That's correct.
Right, so it's probably,
That's why, so it was just
Okay.
like an earmarker in case it was 2 separate positions.
right.
So does the emergency management, now that it's essentially part of the police department equipment in terms of phones, do we need any budget for telephone? I'm asking a question I should have asked.
I mean, as for now, he could decide to leave and then we would be hiring someone else. I wouldn't put it to 0.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we maintain a specific phone at this point in this arrangement with as a dedicated emergency management phone.
Right, but if someone else were to start
Yeah.
and then they were gonna get a stipend or whatever for their personal phone or.
Essentially, we're just leaving the budget alone for the moment.
Madam Chair, when you look at the expenditures year-to-date, there is no account number in here for the emergency management stipend. 429002-111 is not in your expenditures at all, so I don't know if the account's been created yet, if it's still in the police budget.
Right.
I'm guessing that it's not created, that's why it's not coming into the account.
Right, yeah.
Madam Chair, can we just go back to the phone thing
Sure,
for a
of
minute?
course.
So, do you have a sat phone available currently, like, if there were an emergency?
I have a regular cell phone.
So if cell towers go down, do we not have anything as a
No.
backup? It seems like
Or if
for
you're
any
on-
department, emergency management could use a sat phone.
Yeah,
What if you're on Mount Delight? There's no cell towers.
there's a few areas. It says CAD service under telephone, is that, I don't know what CAD service is. Then it says Fairpoint.
I do have FirstNet, which is a little bit more reliable.
Okay.
Installed on the cell network.
I just, it's something to think about, perhaps, if there's a true emergency, like, that would seem to be pretty important.
What would you suggest if we assume the cell towers are gone, right? What other method?
A satellite phone.
Satellite phone.
And newer cell phones, some come with satellite function, but I don't know about your phone or, the phones that are available through the town. So
Well, the FirstNet phones prioritize first responders. So if there was to be an outage, those would be the phones that would maintain priority if they had to limit usage to any degree.
okay.
If that makes sense.
Just when I did some emergency management work, when I was working for the federal government, we always had a sat phone.
I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, this is a little bit different than a first responder position. You happen to be a first responder, but the emergency management position, I don't believe is a first response position. It's, as I understand the conversation from, what?
Last year.
From last year, yeah, this is really a clean, you have to go observe after the fact, you have to see if it was a disaster area, but it's not a first response kind of thing. So you'd have to figure out whether,
Because it's more management function.
yeah, it's a
More
more,
of a coordination
Yeah.
Yes.
of resources, and the first responders, of course, will do their job immediately on the onslaught of whatever disaster is.
dealing with the fun of FEMA.
If it's like a cyber event or something like that, there is no first responder response, but you might still have an emergency.
It's kind of all encompassing.
Yeah.
Depends on the situation. If we have a tornado like we had in 2008, you could definitely be on the ground trying to coordinate things.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if it's just something else, and it could be, filling out paperwork afterwards, it's very subjective.
And it may be that there's like a grant, emergency management grant, or it might be interesting to look at what other towns keep, available for their communication equipment, just to make sure we've got what we need.
They have a bat signal.
Enterprise went out.
We're gonna have to. All right, well. Anything?
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for taking this position
Yeah.
and providing this service to the town. Thank you so much.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, we'll move the emergency management budget in the total of $9,338. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain?
So we have,
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
we have one more, I believe, at the end here, which is the transfer station. However, I wonder about the timing of the other meeting that's scheduled.
Do
It's
we have
already
it?
happening.
Oh, they're upstairs.
Yeah, do you
thought it
guys
started at
want to adjourn,
7:30.
then they can move happily.
So continue.
We can, it's completely up to everybody if they.
We are in
if
the
you
next
wanna-
to last session, I believe. I think that the finish up of the
I
town
believe
budget
so.
will be next week. You know, depending on anything getting tabled or whatever, but I mean, I think we're at next week facing the cleanup, if you will, of the final budget items that have been covered already.
My preference would just be to go through and finish what's on the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. You guys are?
Yeah, I'm gonna run up and make sure that I'm not missing.
Okay, yes, you said you had to step out at.
Did we do bridges and dams previously?
I don't think you guys did.
That
and
was
I-
my question.
Did you guys do highway safety?
I don't think we
Haven't
did,
done highway
we
safety.
didn't do highway safety, and that's on here too. Why don't we do the highway safety as well as the bridges and dams, because, yeah,
That should be fairly fast.
84, correct, yes, nice and
84.
fast.
Highways, safety. You see that we've had $1 for years and years, and we don't use any of it. And it's $5. So I make a motion to approve the highway safety budget again for $5.
Second.
All right, motion in a second, anybody, any discussion? Seeing none, everyone signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Then let's move to bridges.
Page is that on?
Bridges are on page 95.
No,
There's a $1 line there for bridge repair.
Second.
Second. Hold on.
Motion to move at $1 for the bridges.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the $1. Yes, everyone in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Okay,
And then dams.
unanimous.
Dams is 96. The Dam Bureau,
Damn bureau. Yeah. All depends how you say it.
Dam Bureau charges us $400 apparently, so, as it has been all along, and we spend the 400 every year. It's identical to all the previous years, and it's exactly on the historical spend, so.
And
I
are you
move
making a motion?
I'm making a motion for dams at $400.
Second.
All right,
So, my question, I know the DES has become more concerned about water generally this past year, and dams is actually one of the things that they are looking at. Have you had any indication from DES as to either increasing that number or,
We haven't gotten anything yet from them.
yeah?
That says anything different.
And NHMA hasn't sent out anything advising the town about DES and dams?
not yet, Errol.
Don't let them hear the minutes. All right,
Anybody else? All right, everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No opposed, no abstentions.
that brings us to the transfer station.
Okay, and that was 102.
That is on page, there's several sections. right?
Yes.
So this is, the first is the administration section, which is on page 102. And all of our employees, our part-time employees, we don't have anybody, I don't think, as that's, so Karen and I will have to answer those questions.
Okay.
All the employees are part-time, you see them all on the part-time line, we don't have any current full-time employees. And the total there is $113,257.
How many people is that budgeted for?
3.5.
3.5.
But we currently have,
3.5. So this is no full-time.
Yeah.
This is just 3 part-timers and then 1 person that's getting paid slightly more than the rest, based on experience.
How many hours a week for each employee?
This was budgeted at 32, because that's what it was before. The transfer station's open about 25 hours a week, and then it was to give them a day to process material and clean it up. Suzanne's on the solid waste committee.
So it's for This
You should talk into the microphones.
113,000 represents 32 hours for 3.5 people.
Yes.
And is that fully staffed, 3.5 people?
I think that is what makes it manageable now.
Fully staffed, I think, is too strong of a term.
Yeah.
It's manageably staffed.
Well, we lost, the warrant article went down for the supervisor position, which would have been a full-time position, correct?
That was the intention,
Technically.
yes.
Is one of the current 3.5 employees one of the highway department personnel?
No, these are strictly working at the transfer
Just
station.
transfer station?
Okay.
We supplement when needed. From other places, including select.
I was gonna say the board, yeah.
We love that because those are freebies. You don't get a stipend, right?
You don't, no invoice?
And for the record, there is an open position available still technically for part-time? Okay,
Two.
two, because, okay.
And would you like to approve the individual sections individually? Or would you just like to go through them and then have a motion for the?
Let's go through them and do a final motion. Is everybody okay with that? For fast tracking? Okay.
So we're gonna go to the next.
Yes,
Any further questions on?
unless we have, yeah, unless we have more. All right,
This one is the actual collection. This is how we actually collect the trash at the transfer station. So this refers mostly to expenses at the transfer station facility. And I'll make a motion to approve $37,300 as the total for the collection portion of the transfer station.
Second.
This includes all of the mowing and telephones and testing, and electricity and supplies and diesel fuel, all of the nitty-gritty day-to-day expenses. We did make one change as the selectmen. We, in line, the one that says vendors, maintenance and repairs, that line was $10,000, and we moved it down from $10,000 to $5,000. That's the only change I'm aware of that the Board of Selectmen made on the budget coming from the previous.
And the contract line, the previous 399 line, that was for porta potties, but there's a bathroom there now, so we don't need to incur that expense any longer.
Is provision being made for telephone service that will allow for surveillance?
I don't know about surveillance, but cameras was something that the board has discussed and would use impact fees likely to obtain those.
Okay. But, so, and I don't know, do you need, I think you need some sort of internet capability to do that.
They have Wi-Fi down there.
Okay, so the fact that the phone line was knocked down and never replaced is not a hindrance to that?
Correct. And they have a satellite there for the alarm, so they could
Gotcha.
probably piggyback off of that if they needed to.
Madam Chair, can I just go back to the employee line? So you said it's 3.5 employees, 32 hours a week. What is that salary range?
18.
They're all at 18 right now?
There's one that's at 25, and that's budgeted at 18 hours.
Okay, and is there any merit increase funding in that budget line? Okay.
Further questions on the collection portion of the transfer station budget?
of course I'm gonna ask. Vehicle maintenance and repairs was 0 for quite some time. And it looks like there's a 5,000. I'm assuming that's for the vehicle.
That's for the roll-off truck,
The
yes.
roll-off
So some has been expended to repair that truck. I think it was only like a couple, I want to say it was like 1,500
Okay.
to repair the air leak.
That's primarily why we moved that down from 10,000 to 5.
I gotcha. That was the line. Okay, I gotcha.
And also the loader maintenance gets paid out of this budget.
Right.
Is that staying at the transfer station?
It's at the highway shed right
The
now.
loader itself is?
Yes.
But is the budget still
Budget
staying
will stay at the transfer station.
at the
yes.
transfer station? Any, is that going to change or no idea?
Not in 26 budget.
Okay.
Where's this piece of property?
Any other questions? I would just say, let's get another round of that application out there or that request for, to see if we can bring anybody else in. Is there any anticipation that hours will change again next year? Or to open up more hours, or are we still gonna keep the? Like,
It's hard to say, we didn't anticipate any change in hours this year, but we did because we didn't have funding for something, and we didn't have personnel at some point.
right.
Could be the same as this year where we have to curtail some hours possibly.
Okay.
Move on to the disposal portion.
Mm-hmm.
The lion's share of the budget is the disposal portion. This is the actual trucking and tipping fees at the facilities where we take these wastes. And so I'll make a motion to move the bottom line for the disposal part. I don't need a motion, I'm going to do them all together. It amounts to $342,051. And you can see the breakdown, and you can see how much shortfall we've had in different years in what we've actually had to spend versus what the default budget has allowed. And this is part of the reason that we've had to steal from other places, is a big shortfall generally. And of course, getting rid of trash is my priority.
Certainly doesn't get better with age.
Okay,
Questions on the disposal portion of the budget?
expensive. A little bit under a few of
This is
these.
why we've increased our
Right.
fees.
Yep, that makes sense. Looking forward to seeing next year. And that's gone into effect, correct? The increase of fees? Yes.
Yes, July 1st.
July 1st, that was right.
What effect have you seen from that?
More money.
What other?
Big money?
Percentage-wise, I'm not sure.
Yeah?
I can tell you from, one day working at the transfer station, there's a lot of people that come in and they're quite upset about how much they have to spend to get rid of a computer monitor or a mattress or a refrigerator or a dryer or whatever they're bringing in. There's quite a lot of angst by citizens, voiced toward the personnel at the transfer station for justifying why they should give, $35 or whatever it is for a mattress and $15 for a
50,
computer
50,
monitor.
55 for a mattress, 55 for a mattress, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, some people are basically coming in with some things, and I think they decide to take them back home again. And I assume they're gonna dispose of them in some other way, which may be still at our transfer station, but in a different form. I don't know.
But if I'm not mistaken, you've taken a number of steps to address some of those issues. There's a new contractor, if I'm not mistaken, for e-waste, which is going to reduce I don't know if you're going to still collect those fees with the new e-waste system.
will.
Yeah, so,
But we'll be able to reduce the hauling, and this container is a closed-top container, so we'll be able to process the material just one time.
Yeah, and you're going to have savings in labor, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, as well, because you don't have to fill all the gaylords and so forth.
Yes.
So that'll work. And then, yeah,
So the transfer station employees have not only a physical job to do, but they have of course, kind of an emotional policing job to do, if you will, at the transfer station, which can be difficult.
Go ahead.
No, so I just have a question. Are the fees comparable to towns around us?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I believe that discussion was,
Yeah, they like surveyed a bunch.
right,
yeah, that's what I
which is
thought they did.
helpful, so that we
And
can,
we're really just passing on the costs that we're incurring.
Exactly,
yeah,
right,
these costs are quite high.
right. Maybe some signage there would, explaining a little bit more, or a little bit more information so the employees don't take it on the chin.
We have some placards posted for that point to them, and,
Yeah, good, good,
that's what it is.
That's good.
helpful.
The electronic disposal, did we not do that this year? Because there's no spend under here, or there's no,
No, we're doing that.
okay. I wonder if that's just not,
Every day there's
Been put
several
in yet?
things that come into that little area where we do the electronic. They cut off the wires, put them in one bin, and they take the monitor, put it in another bin, and they have to take out any batteries or things like that.
and we did hazardous waste day, I
Yes,
believe.
we just got, I think that was in this week's AP, so it wouldn't
Okay.
be in here.
Okay,
But I would like to change the way that that's structured next year.
okay.
in what way?
Right now, the way that it is the town signs up for however many units they will accept, and then it's first come, first served. So as soon as that truck is full, they leave. And so a lot of people get turned away. So I would like to change it so that we either don't have a limit or some capacity so that if people want to use the service, they're able to.
I'm not suggesting that we curtail services, but I think legally, the only obligation that the town has is to provide for the disposal of household trash, meaning like kitchen trash essentially.
Correct.
We do a lot of services at the transfer station for good reasons that aren't really legally required by the town to do.
Such as?
Well, all the other things like.
Hazardous waste,
Right,
Hazardous waste, construction waste. that-
recycling.
Recycling.
Okay.
yeah, even recycling.
Those are not legally required by the town to do. But we are obligated to get rid of household trash for residents, or provide a way for that to happen. To also be a private pickup idea would be a way to do that.
Right.
It does look like we might not be hitting as much as we were last year with solid waste, but obviously,
We got rid of the CNG dumpster.
right, and that's, yeah, so that's good. I mean, at least we're showing that it's not gonna be well over.
And we've also taken.
Are those ideas that have been discussed at the select board level? All of those?
Not the hazardous waste day, not yet.
No?
And that would not be a free service. The residents, we just may structure it differently so that they just may pay as they come,
Yeah, just having
instead
the
of us
option.
paying up front 10 grand.
Yeah.
No, I know there are a lot of options on that,
Yeah.
on that side. But I thought we'd put the idea of private pickup to rest.
Been discussed, I don't know that we haven't voted on it. It's been discussion and different opinions raised about it.
It's not happening in this budget year.
Yeah, I thought one year it was brought up and the answer was there was no company willing to do the whole town. Now, that may have changed, but that was, I remember that maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it seems to have boomed since just the past few years with availability of trash service pickup.
Right, I see different people doing it.
Yeah,
Some little trucks that look like, an individual is doing it, but I thought the idea was we could not find anyone to do it for the entire town, and that's
Well,
why.
and those people end up being, they have to take it elsewhere because we can't take commercial haulers at our facility. So they've got to go, I don't know, to Epping or some other place to get rid of that. So I'm sure that's reflected in in the pricing of that.
Right.
When it may be cost prohibitive to do curbside, just because of the land miles
Right.
Correct.
down. I mean,
Right.
you have only, what, 2,400 parcels, but to get from end to end, it might take too long or too many days that it doesn't make sense cost-wise.
109,
If you think people get mad about the school bus pickup, just
Yeah.
wait till they're waiting behind the garbage truck.
Pick your battles. I don't know.
And we're gonna pave the road that day.
Yeah, right. And then we'll have barrels rolling across the road and then a loose dog. It will be
I'm doing trees too,
crazy.
we'll be doing trees as well.
There's a lot going on. Okay. Any other discussion on transfer station?
Well, I do have, I mean, so I know the solid waste committee's been active. Is the select board have any view on what you're going to be implementing, not implementing with what they've been doing or not?
So we didn't have those initiatives when this budget was initially put together. And we haven't made any discussion yet of the initiatives that have been proposed or presented to us. So not in this budget.
But you are committed to buying two receiver bodies out of impact fees and out of budget. So that's a little bit of a change in sort of process.
Yeah, we have taken some steps. Jared Messina has been leading the board and taking some steps to increase the costs.
And you've also got a contract coming up end of March.
Yes, both of them for disposal and for collection are coming due in March.
Right.
We're working on drafting the RFP, and that will be on the agenda for December 1st
Got you.
for the disposal portion.
Right.
Okay.
You can see that the proposed budget of $200 is quite a bit higher than the default budget.
Right, but in theory, if things go well with the hauling contract, you might be having some savings through that, potentially. I'm guessing that's what you're aiming for.
Aiming, but I don't see savings. I mean, this is built in with a 5% escalator, because that's been the trend with our current contract, but
We're hoping that happening.
Yeah, well, aren't we all? Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
Any
I
more?
think it's more plausible to offset our increases by restructuring some of our management practices or business practices.
Right, right.
Such as.
Planning.
See it all in the works.
Oh, don't start with me. Don't start with me here.
I'm getting punchy, I gotta go home.
Oh, it's not even 8 o'clock yet.
I've been up since 4:45.
Two?
So did anyone add the whole total up?
I didn't. I was trying to, and
I did.
I hadn't. If you could,
It's $492,608 for the three budgets.
492.
492,608. I did,
even?
I triple checked it.
Approve the three budgets that comprise the total transfer budget in the amount of $492,608.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstained? Seeing none. Motion passes. That should be it. Transfer station was our last one. Does anybody have any old business?
Yes,
Yes.
the minutes from July
Okay.
that were approved by the board
Yes.
did not have the name of the motioner and the seconder. And I think that there was an updated set of minutes that were circulated but not approved by the committee.
Okay. Did we send those out? Did that get sent out? The updated version?
It got sent out to the committee.
Okay. But we have to vote on them.
I mean, it got sent to me, maybe it was
No,
because I raised the
believe
issue.
it went out. I know, I'm trying to look back. I believe it went out.
I don't recall getting updated minutes. I just looked this afternoon for July 22nd.
It was beginning of November, I think November 5th around then, November 4th or 5th?
I think when you originally sent that email, I think you sent it to the chair and to
Correct.
Leah maybe?
I think
And
so.
so maybe when you replied, it was
Kev,
just,
well, and then, so Kevin forwarded my email to the whole board
board?
and said, we'll deal with this at the next meeting. And then I think also then forwarded the amended minutes,
Okay.
I think.
I don't think they're on the town website.
Yeah, I don't see them on here at all. They're not on there.
But I would propose that that's the least problematic of the issues with those minutes.
I raised the issue, so I'm just resolving the issue that I raised myself.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna need to, well, we're gonna need the updated version too. And I don't know if it was sent to everybody.
Are these still the AI minutes?
Correct.
And I'm not sure that 92, 91A permits that, because 91A requires the name of the person, did I say person, who composed the minutes on those minutes. So I don't think those minutes comply with that at all. Not that I want to have the AI, I mean, I'd love to not even think about AI minutes, because they're so terrible. But with regard to those particular minutes, I would actually propose that we go back to the original minutes, figure out the language that makes all the members happy, and agree those. Because that's possible, that's in the realm of the possible. And that would resolve a number of issues.
I believe this is
Happily
the
keep the members happy.
All right, I believe this is the corrected version. Yeah, I don't think it went out to everybody. I think it just, and we never put it on the budget, on the agenda. I think the updated version has to go out and then we'd have to vote on it. So we may, I don't know, what do you guys want to do? We're gonna have to go over it before we,
is that the only change?
I think so. It was just adding in the motion, who made the motion to vote? And I do have it here, but I don't think this, I think this was sent just to Kevin.
I just looked at Kevin's email. He sent it BCC to me, so I don't know
Okay.
who else it got sent to.
Right, I don't think it went to everybody. I can definitely send this to everybody. All right, well, we'll put it, I don't know, do we make?
Put it on the next
Yeah,
agenda.
do we just put it on the next? We have to make
So
it,
I don't think we're allowed to, by RSA, I don't think we're allowed to have AI minutes. I mean, you know, it does call for a person to compose the minutes. And it's, and the minutes that are, you know, the AI minutes that get sent around are a joke. They're just, you know, they mangle everybody's language, and they're not representative at all of what happened in that meeting. So, and I frankly don't have a problem with the original minutes that came up, but I'm happy to amend those minutes to you know, make sure that the language that is unpleasing to members gets resolved. I think we can do that. I think, you know, we're all grown-ups, we can figure this out.
well, I'll send it over and we'll have to discuss it and approve it.
Well, we'll have to do that.
Someone will have to do that. I mean, these are the approved set of minutes, so
I know, and
regardless,
I
we
don't
have
think-
to.
I don't think they're compliant with
I
91A.
would disagree, because I think they do say who they were transcribed by. I don't think it necessarily has to be a person. I don't think there's anything in the RSA
It
saying
says
that an
it
artificial
says, the
intelligence
RSA says
can't.
the person who composed them. That's what it says, a person that composed the minutes. That's the
Well,
language in the
given that I
RSA.
have to make an adjustment on them, my name should go on them, I would say.
Well, I mean, those minutes are trash, quite frankly.
Okay, well,
So, you know, the original minutes may not have been made everybody happy, but our job is to amend the language and to make sure that people are happy with them, not to give it to a machine that will then make it look like dog food.
okay, well, we have an amendment on it. So what we'll do is we'll send it to everybody, we'll vote on it next, and then we have to go from there. I mean, I don't know, we have an approved set of minutes that are posted.
Can I
Well,
make a motion about future minutes that we use the recording secretary to create the minutes for the MBC meetings? And if there are amendments that members make proposals for the committee to agree on?
second.
Any discussion?
I mean, I don't know why we would want to make a motion to do that at this point.
We've been discussing the same set of minutes since July, and I think it would be, you're right, since August. I think there is a person who is hired by the town to be our recording secretary.
But that doesn't mean that changes can't be made.
Right, and that's why I said changes should be proposed by someone who wants to make the changes for the committee to then agree on.
That's what, yeah, that's what people do in meetings. If they don't like the language, they offer proposed language, and the committee looks at that and says yea or nay, or agree. It's the job of the committee to agree the language. That's the way it works in committees.
What I have seen before is if a draft, like the draft is circulated to the board prior to, and if you have amendments, then you bring
Right.
your amendments to the meeting, and you say line 1 should say this, line 2 should say this, and then everybody votes.
And if there are significant changes needed, you can table the minutes till the next meeting and say,
Yes.
I'm going to propose changes, I will bring it to the next meeting. I think that's fine.
Yeah, but it's our job to come up with the language, not some inchoate machine who adds, a level of analysis that's entirely unnecessary.
All right, well, we have a motion on the table.
Can I just have
Go
a
ahead,
question
Rodney,
about the motion. I wasn't at that meeting, so I have to abstain every time anything comes up about it. But,
This is going forward.
yeah, this is going forward, but I don't know that we need that's the way the.
It's already done.
It's already done
I-
by the recording secretary, so I don't.
But it's not.
Oh, because of
This
this meeting that
body
was
has-
done with our AI.
This body has approved
There was
AI
approved.
minutes.
There was an approved, it was approved one time to you, but done
use
by
these set of
AI,
minutes.
so now the
You're right,
concern
but someone
is.
could say, well, for this one meeting, we use AI minutes. So historically, it's been acceptable.
Okay, understand, got it.
Go ahead, Will.
I think it's a reasonable motion, but I wonder if, because we have such a subset of our total board, whether we'd be better off waiting until we have the next meeting where we might have a better representation. Just a question, because we are.
I mean, I get it, but we have a quorum of the board, so we can vote. And I think we can't always push things off until we have more of a quorum.
That's actually how we got here. We push things off and we push things off. We just need to make a decision.
So
on
we
what-
have a recording secretary
Correct,
who is taking notes for the committee currently
correct,
and providing minutes.
correct.
Minutes which have been approved, every set that she has provided, other than that one meeting wherein those minutes were dissatisfactory to a majority of the committee. Most members of the committee were not satisfied with those minutes.
Then I would say that.
So
the
your
committee should have amended
motion, well, we provided notes, we provided comments.
I wasn't here, so it's
Correct,
obviously
you
easy
weren't.
to Monday morning quarterback this.
Right.
But the correct procedure would have not to say, go look at this and redo it. The correct procedure would be, this needs to be amended to this.
I proposed language and pointed out in the meeting what language was inaccurate. I also pointed out entire sections of entire conversations that were left out.
And that's fine. And I don't
Okay,
know how we got to
and so
AI
we did
minutes.
we did not get minutes that
Well-
included those changes.
I think pointing them out and asking for a rewrite is not what should have been done. It should have been, this is what the board would like it to be. This is the approved minutes with these amendments. So this is how it should be amended.
Yeah, and I have to say that conversations were missing is one thing. I don't recall that actual specific language was proposed, nor do I recall that that conversations that were missing were actually identified as what they were.
Right.
So the specificity level is important. It's very important for this body to agree that, okay, we're going to go back and talk about the oatmeal language, because we really think it's more like wheatina, okay? And that kind of thing. So it needs to be specific for this body to approve it.
It
And
it
that's
would
how-
also
that's standard
probably,
practice.
it would probably be helpful if we stayed away from using that kind of language in any commentary on the minutes, because that took us down a path that
Oatmeal and
was-
Hutina, you mean?
it's just
An analogy is an-
unnecessary
it's an
and
analogy.
inappropriate, and it came off as offensive at the end of the day.
Not
So I
inappropriate,
think that if we just kind of leave those references and analogies out, it's probably best in terms of what we're trying to achieve.
I can't agree with that. So, that's, an analogy is an analogy. It was obviously worked. So I think the motion's a good motion to have a practice that we agree that is a standard practice in most corporate and municipal bodies. Certainly the bodies I sit on, we all do that. I think that's what we ought to do going forward.
Well, it's not permanent, I suppose, right? Because I suppose just because you say going forward, we're gonna do it this way.
Could
the next
make a
meeting,
motion.
It can be said, let's make a motion to do it the other way. We can decide as we go, I suppose.
Yeah,
not
it's,
permanent.
no,
They
it's
go
just a
in forward,
motion.
doesn't mean forever.
I don't see the need to make a motion to continue the practice that's in place.
I don't think we can say we're continuing the practice, because we diverted from the practice, and now
What-
we're still talking about the minutes 6 months later.
Well,
Well-
I think what happened was we just didn't have minutes to vote on, and that's what we had to vote on, so that's what got put in. All right. We will, obviously, we have a motion and a second on the table, so let's go ahead and vote.
Sure.
All right, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4. No?
Nay.
Abstain. Bonnie, were you abstaining or, no, you didn't have to on this one.
No, I can vote on this one.
One
It's that other
abstention,
one.
4 yeas, 2 nays, 1 abstention, right? Did I get that right? 1, 2, 3,
Abstention, nay?
abstention,
You're-
nay, nay. Okay. All right. Do we have any other old business?
Is there a reason we haven't gotten minutes for the last meeting?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't know.
In
I
what
just-
time frame are they due?
Technically 5, yes.
Has it been 5 days?
Yes, so we are looking
Okay,
for those.
so why don't we
minutes.
have minutes?
I mean, those minutes. I believe 11, 18 are the only outstanding minutes though that we have.
Okay, so what do we do when we don't have minutes that we're supposed to have within 5 days? What's the procedure at that point?
We request that they be sent.
I make a motion to request that we get minutes from the recording secretary within 5 days as legally required.
I mean,
Second.
it's very possible she sent them to Kevin.
Kevin has not received them yet. I did follow up just to make sure because they weren't on the town website and I didn't get them, so I wanted to make sure. He's traveling though. He's traveling. It could have come over the weekend maybe.
Right. So, all the other committees that meet in Deerfield, how, are there restrictions on, or there are time limits on when those minutes are due?
Per
Is it,
RSA.
is it pretty standard?
It's RSA.
RSA.
It's
all the
RSA.
Within
same.
5 days, yes.
5 days, okay.
It's hard for a lot, to
And
get that.
if you
but-
want to look at practice, I mean, you can talk to the town clerk as to how many committees actually do that, okay? And she's recently cracked down on, and so people tend to get them in within 5 days. Some people do it within 5 hours. But that, that's just the way it is. That's what the RSA says. So yeah, I think that was a motion to follow the law, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
just
love-
like we had a motion to use the
have a motion in a
recording
second.
secretary that we already used.
I like following the law. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yes. I mean, we can only hope that people follow the law, right?
I'm going to quote.
well, and
you.
there
There is a motion on the table.
there are, so there are consequences for not, we can't be an effective committee if we don't have minutes to approve, then you get this lag, and we're approving minutes from, months ago. So there are reasons to have them produced in a timely manner, right? So,
Okay. Sorry, when was last meeting?
11, 18 last week, last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday.
Agenda's on there.
Right, okay.
It's just and I didn't receive, I usually get notifications too, obviously, if it's uploaded to the town. But again, if it was just sent to Kevin,
Well, there's also been like weird
We did.
website issue, or I mean,
Yes, because the website went live last Wednesday, so.
Right.
it's been a
So
little
like,
bit
it's been a little bit wonky.
Typically, if Kevin receives them, he sends them out, but again, he's on travel, so.
The search function now works.
Yes.
We're talking about getting minutes
still can't find
within
what
a
I need.
timely fashion.
Yes, sorry.
Usually I.
So do we have a motion?
We have a motion and a second on the table to follow RSA and have minutes posted within 5 days, or in our possession within 5 days.
What,
The
could
term
we
is
say in the
available, I think.
possession of the
Available, it
chair?
really is available.
It's available, is
Right.
a
You
language.
want them available, or not just in the possession of the chair?
As long as they are produced within 5 days, it should be okay.
Then
'cause
that
as-
would meet the-
as soon
that
as
would
they go
meet
to
the letter of the
chair-
law.
Yes, as soon as they go to the chair, they go onto the website, so it's public.
Yeah. So it happens at the
draft.
same time.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's fair to say we're gonna follow the motion. I just don't know how much control the committee has over that.
I don't,
Yeah, I mean,
And the law does not require them to be posted anywhere, just available.
Correct. I was gonna say,
Okay.
we don't
So that is a
necessarily
courtesy.
post
It doesn't
the
have to be on the
draft.
That is a courtesy to the residents. Nothing is required to be posted on the website.
Right, and my motion was not to be posted on the website, it was to be generated and provided to the committee.
Well, I think it should be to the chair, personally.
I always send minutes to the chair.
As far as the authority that this committee has over that employee, of course.
Right, we don't,
You're not the employer.
we have not.
But you can certainly bring a complaint to the employer about the employee, that's
Sure.
certainly.
Right, so we,
So I wouldn't start with a complaint so much as I would start with an inquiry. This is Thanksgiving week, and we have no idea what circumstances, maybe she was in a car accident, maybe not. I have no idea. So an inquiry, I think, would be appropriate as to where the available minutes are, and then take it from there. I mean, I don't think being, what are we, a day late right now? 23rd,
Today is day
18th?
5.
What?
Today would
today's
be
day
day
5.
5.
Yeah, technically, business day, it's not
It's business day.
business days.
So it should be available today, so it's actually technically not late.
Correct.
Okay, so we got nothing to inquire about.
what happened to the minutes for July 25th? They were on. They were on the website.
They're gone.
And then they disappeared.
I wish I knew. I don't know. I do think with the new website, it might be something.
Well, the originals were on there.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
They're no longer there. We will follow up with that. I mean, that's all we can do on that. Same with the 11, 18 minutes. All right, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
4? I'm sorry.
I don't know what we're voting on.
You're right, you just came back. You missed it.
Oh, no.
What was the, could you repeat the motion?
A motion to require that the minutes from the recording secretary be provided within 5 days to the committee chair as required by law.
5 business days.
Business days.
Right.
Sure.
So
So we had 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nay, no abstentions. Okay, any other old business?
oh, do we, oh,
Motion failed.
Find it
Sorry, I should have said
interesting that
You're
we,
right.
it's interesting that we don't want to
Follow RSA?
require that
I-
minutes be provided
well,
per the RSA. That's very interesting
I
to
don't
me.
think, Stacy, that that's what the nays were about. I think the
No.
nays were giving the recording secretary a little bit of breadth and giving her the opportunity to
But
explain.
in the conversation directly preceding this, we discussed how important it is to follow the letter of the law to get, and how we are giving feedback on minutes.
Well, that's
And
just
yet
per-
we're not, and the importance of using the recording secretary as opposed to something AI because we have an employee, and yet we're not going to hold,
It's for that
know,
reason
that
that
accountability,
It's for that
but-
reason that I thought the motion was entirely unnecessary, because 5 days is not passed. It is not, they're not late yet. So, it's just not a,
I think it's untimely.
yeah, it's, I argued to, treat her as a human being and say, geez, what's up, okay? I don't think it requires a
well,
motion in the
that's
meeting.
fair enough.
Any new business first? New business, and then we'll go to
We
public
have,
comments,
we have
just in
citizens'
case.
comments?
Yes. Is there any new business, though, just in case? Okay.
I just wanted, when are we getting the school budget? It was on the agenda for tonight.
Yeah, Catherine and I talked about that months ago, that it should be removed. It was posted on all the agendas going forward in November, and then he removed some of them, most of
Okay.
them. Tonight, I don't know why it was on. The school has not finished our budget.
Okay, what's the date for that then? Just
We
like,
are tentatively finishing at our next board meeting on December 3rd, so then the committee should have it by December 9th.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that was what the schedule
That's, yeah,
said.
correct, that's the original
Thank you.
schedule.
Yep.
Public comment? You sure? Okay.
Going once.
Anyone can make a motion to adjourn now.
Second.
Second. Happy
Motion and a second.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy